All right, we are live. I am with Lisa and I am with Shawn. Thank you guys for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pleasure.
So, all right. Like I said before, I'm going to try to get to know how you guys got into caching and how you got into your T-shirt business and your cash advance business. So, whoever wants to start first, go right ahead. So,
Lisa, by all means, go ahead.
Okay. So how I started caching, it was 2002, actually, when I started. I've been doing this for 18 years. I was working on my master's at Washington State University on the Spokane campus. And I was also working for the school too. So I was literally on campus 12 hours a day. 8 hours of work and then 4 hours of evening classes. I'm like, I got to do something to get off campus. And I saw an article on how to geocache and thought, well, that sounds really interesting. That's right up my alley. It's kind of nerdy, little techie, outdoorsy. And so I bought a GPS and went camping. It was Labor Day weekend. And found my first cache, big ammo can in the woods in Idaho. And I was hooked. I mean, I was like, this is Christmas every day. So this is just awesome. Yeah. So that's how I started.
And how'd you get into your cash advance part of it?
Yeah. Well, that actually dovetails a little bit. So I finished my master's. It's a Master's of Technology Management. So it's basically an MBA, but with a high-tech emphasis. And I was done with that in 05, around that time. And thought, now that I'm not going to school every evening, I need something to do in my evening time, to keep myself busy. And I thought, oh, Christmas is coming. I was having lunch with a friend. Literally, we're having pho noodles. And I thought, well, maybe I could pick up a Christmas job, temporary job, just, over the winter time. I said, but it's really going to cut into my geocaching time. And my friend, she's an entrepreneur, and she just looked at me and she said, well, why don't you build a business around geocaching? And like that moment, I went, that's it. And I actually developed Dr. B's Cache Repair Kit. Sitting right there with her, I was just kind of talking through the things because she'd been geocaching with me a little bit. And I thought, I wonder if anybody has developed a kit or a product for geocaching. And in 2005, no, there was really hardly anything out there. And so I got enough supplies and I made 100 of them and they sold out like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was like, yeah, I think I'm onto something here. So I originally was on eBay. That's where I started, just to give it a test. At that time, eBay was a great place to do product testing, to see if people like it. And they did. So the next year, so 2006, I developed an e-commerce website and was off to the races.
Wow. The rest is history.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes, that was 15 years ago was when I started my company. And another funny story, the name Cash Advance, I came up with that when I went to register my business to get a business license. And being in Spokane County, we have to have a license. And it's a 3-story building. And the third floor is the office that you go to register your building or your business. At that time, they weren't online. And I walk on the elevator and the door's closed. I'm like, I don't have a name. What am I going to call this?
Oops.
Yeah, because I was just one product.
Lisa's shop.
Yeah, exactly. My logo at the time, that was all that I had, Dr. B's. But I knew I wanted to do other products and such.
Right.
And in those 3 flights, Cash Advance, it just popped into my head, and I went, yeah, sure, I like it. And it's served me well all these years.
I like it. It makes it. It's when I first heard of it, I thought it was a paycheck advance company, but obviously it's not.
No.
So, my wife and I started geocaching in 2010. She was watching another podcast, a Phil DeFranco podcast, and he said he was going to be missing. He wasn't going to be doing any shows the next week because he and his girlfriend were going to go geocaching in Paris. And I was like, geocaching. What's geocaching? So we Googled it and found out that in our own backyard at the time, there was an earth cache right in our backyard. And, but in order to log it, we didn't have the tools we needed to log it. So we just kind of let it sit there for a while. But our first cache we found was in a Walmart. It was a lamppost cache. And like anybody else, we freaked out when we realized that those things actually lift up, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were hooked from there. We were so hooked, we actually took 2 years off and forgot about it.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was. And then we moved to Iowa, and when we moved to Iowa, we were just out driving around, just seeing the sites because we didn't live in Iowa before, and we accidentally found another geocache, and that's when it was off the races for us. And so we, it's taken over our lives. And then when we started our business, it was kind of by accident. You know, like a lot of people, we would get our kids, pajamas for Christmas. And well, now our kids are in their 20s. It's kind of hard to buy them pajamas. Yeah, so we started to. So my wife said, "Well," I said, "instead of buying pajamas, why don't we make them a shirt?" And she's like, "Well, how are we going to do this?" So we went through the process of trying to figure out how to do it, and we came up with a design, and we actually just bought printable vinyl that you can put in your printer. And we printed a design, we cut it out, and we ironed it on. And they loved it. Everybody loves it. They still love it to this day. But the next Christmas, we're trying to figure out a better way to make it look. I was trying to figure out a better way to make it look better and come up with a different design. And she came up with, she said, "Well, why don't we buy this piece of equipment, and it'll help us design." Next thing you know, we're making and designing our own T-shirts. And I thought, this would be great. I wonder if we could make geocaching T-shirts too. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I came up with this was one of my first designs. It says, "Warning, may spontaneously talk about geocaching."
Yep.
And that I was putting it out on my Facebook page in a couple different groups, and we sold a whole bunch of them within a few months. And someone asked me, "Hey, are you going to Geo Woodstock?" This was last year. And I found out that I reached out to Dee Vickery, and she set me up with a booth, and we ended up driving straight down, left Thursday night, got there 4:00 Friday, set up, and that's how it all started for us. Yeah.
Well, that's diving in deep, doing Woodstock as your first event.
Oh, it was a big event for us. We had no clue what we were getting into when they opened up those doors. I specifically remember Saturday morning, we went in to finish setting up our booth, and they said we got there like at 6:30 in the morning, and we're setting up, and at 7:45, somebody yelled out, "15 minutes until the flood." And I was like, I stopped and looked around. I was like, "Flood? What flood is he talking about?" And then he sounded a air horn, and I looked down where the air horn was, and this flood of people just came right into the venue where we were at. Mm-hmm. And I was on my feet for the entire day. I didn't sit down and stop moving at all. I was tired.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't even take chairs when I'm vending at Megas. You don't get a chance to sit down.
You know, the chairs are more or less in the way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's not actually true. If the Mega is set up such a way that I have a bigger space or it's empty behind me, we'll set up chairs. And it's funny, you know, cashers, even though we're really social, sometimes those big crowds are intimidating. And so, it's nice to have a little place to escape. And I always try to offer a little refuge for people to step out of the crowds for a little bit and sit, chat or something if they want.
Yeah, well, there was a couple older cashers that we offered a chair to because they looked like they just needed a break to sit down. So,
oh yeah,
those were some memories my wife loves to reminisce about.
Is there any special stories from your store that like people are like, oh my God, they can't believe when they actually meet you in person, like they would converse with you over online and stuff like that, but then when they meet you in person, they're like, oh my God, they want to like give you a hug and all that for thanking them for what they've done?
Yeah, I get that a lot. Yeah. I guess I have a distinctive voice too. And I'll be just talking and someone will be walking by and they'll go, wait, that's Lookout Lisa. And stop and introduce themselves and such. It's fun. It's cool because, being, involved in the community the way that I am, I do see most people online. And then when I can actually finally meet them, and put a real face and personality to pixels, that's awesome.
Right.
That's why I love going caching so much, because it's almost like a family reunion every year. Because there's so many people that you see, like there's a picture from one of the going cachings, me and I think his name's Scott Everett. It was the one where we had to dress up like castle. I forgot which one it was, but we had to dress up like castle people, and I was a jester, and it's just crazy to see him grow up from like a little boy, 9-year-old boy. Like, and I've been caching for almost 10 years now. To see him where he's going off to college, I'm like, where did the time go in between that? Because it's like a family reunion every time you go to these mega events and you see the same people, and it's like one big huge family. It's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Was that the Renaissance themed?
I think so.
Yeah, I was there for that one.
So
yeah,
nice.
It's just
I had that happen.
Go ahead, Scott. No, Shawn.
I had that happen one time last September at our local Iowa Geocachers event that I go to, and I was just talking with my wife, and another cacher was walking past me, and she stopped and turned me around, and she said, "You're Shawn from Facebook." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And then she just walked away, and she looked at her other friend and said, "He's Facebook famous." I'm like, what does that mean to be Facebook famous? What? And I have no idea what happened to her. She didn't say who she was. She just kept on going.
These people, like even us as being YouTubers, like people don't watch TV anymore. So when like kids and all, even adults, they geek out seeing us when we walk around an event and we have a camera in our hands, because they're like, "Oh my God, you're him, you're him." And they start shaking like you're a movie star, and like, we're just a regular cacher. We're nothing special.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, because often if Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, is going to be at an event that I'm at, we'll try to schedule so we can film our Geo Challenge of the month together. And it's often hard because people tend to kind of mob him. And we have to like run away.
It happens.
He last year going caching, he took shelter at our booth for a while, and I got one of those.
Awesome. I was asking.
Yeah, Josh took shelter in our booth out of the sun, and just took a short break there, and I think we gave him some water and stuff because it was really hot that last year going caching. But it was still a good time. It beat the 40 degrees we had when we got back home.
Ooh, burr.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last two going cachings have been, like, with the heat, it's been awful. It's been 90 plus degrees in October, and that's no fun when you're trying to go up and down the hills where Andy puts the caches in certain places. So, but it's all in fun. So it'll be a better going caching next year, because I'm sure they have 2 years of plan now. So it's going to be probably bigger and better than it's ever been. So
we can hope.
I'm sure it will be. Yeah, I was just chatting with Andy about that. So they're disappointed, but now it gives them a whole nother year. So yeah.
I don't know how they do what they do. It's just, it boggles my mind. Like, I try to like pick their minds, but there's no picking. It's so hard to do it. It's just
Secrets are secrets.
And they have a big crew. That helps. We do a coin challenge here every summer, and I've got about 10 to 15 folks, kind of core group, that we put it on together. And then, other folks come and go as their schedule allows throughout the years. This will be our 6th one, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, 2015 is when we started. Yeah. And it's just a coin challenge, we just put together a passport and we started doing geo tours and then pulled back from that and do the same thing. Basically, it's just a coin challenge. And even that's a lot of work. So I can't even imagine what they do. Yeah.
What was your first mega event, Lisa?
My first one was Geo Woodstock as well. And it was when I was in California, Wheatland, California. I'm thinking that was 08, 07. I don't remember which year it was. I should look that up. And Shawn, like you, that was my first time vending at a big event. I'd been to regional ones and local, literally, I'll pop my trunk,
Right.
and
back your car up and there you go.
Oh yeah, I've done that many times. We used to joke that I should get one of those overcoats. It's like micros on the side, trackables on the side, on away. But
hey kid, you want to buy a bison tube?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to buy my stash. No. And so I loaded up my SUV. I have a Ford Escape, and with a topper on it, and took 2 friends, and we were literally shoehorned in there, and we drove down. And oh my gosh, what a day! It was just nuts. We had just released the vehicle travel bugs that go on your car. And that was a new product, and we had Trackable T-Shirts as well, which we made. Yes, I am. And on the back was a geo travel bug. Oops, that one's on.
Don't show the code.
Yeah, exactly. This one's for sale. Yeah, so we made the magnet ones, the decals, and the static cling ones, and sold a lot. It was outdoor, and we were on a corner. It was like a long row of booths, and we were at one end. So we were able to go L shape, and it was just a mass of people, 4 or 5 people deep, walking around and getting their goodies and such. And I remember I think we did like rock, paper, scissors, the 3 of us, to see who could get away to go to the bathroom first. And I think I won, or maybe I was second. I don't even remember. And when I waded my way out of all the people, it was cold. It was only about 50 degrees out, and we were sweating. I had no idea that it wasn't, really warm
Right.
all day, because it was just the mass of people. And it was just a hoot, and all the side events.
Were you outdoors?
Yeah. Yeah, it was outside.
Okay.
But we were under a big tent, basically, kind of like a circus tent in a way, for the vending. And yeah, it was just nuts. It was crazy. It was fun. I had a great time.
So you guys were the original ones that put out the car trackables then? Or were they out prior to that?
In a big way, yes. There was somebody else originally. I was buying from him, and it became he couldn't keep up with demand, put it that way. So I reached out to geocaching.com, because, as you all know, the travel bug, it's trademarked image. You can't make it for sale unless you are permission, and an authorized dealer. Right. And so I worked with them and got authorized, and we changed the artwork just a titch. Actually, this one's pretty perfect. The decals are a little bit different, just because of the way the decals are made. They're blade cut. You're probably more familiar with that, Shawn. And so they're small little pieces. And so you have to make it a little more stable, so it'll stay on your car for years and years. Right. But we were the first ones to mass produce them, and geocaching.com bought them from us for years, actually.
Nice. So,
yeah, I've made a lot. And that whole process has evolved too, from how we used to have to set it up to it's much easier today.
Nice. Yeah. And it's interesting to interesting to hear that history. Yeah.
Was
Did
there
you
any
design the
other-
travel bug?
Sorry.
What was that, Shawn?
Did you design the travel bug?
Well, they gave me some artwork to work off of. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm not an artist. So,
Okay.
yeah. And we outsource the production to a local company to do the actual manufacturing of them. And they're, licensed to do it for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, what
Interesting.
other vendors were out there when you first started when you started vending for like big events? Was there any like other vendors like out there at the time or no?
Yeah, there were a few. They're still here. You may have heard of Land Sharks. They're going to be hosting Woodstock. So they started the same time we did. And I bumped into them because they're just north of the border, well, diagonally across the state and into Canada. So I'd met them at a couple other more regional Washington state local events. There was another company, World Caching, and they were just across the border as well in Canada. That company has since changed hands. And someone else bought them, and I haven't really seen much activity. There must have been one or two other caching. Honestly, I don't remember at that first Woodstock that I went to. Most of the other booths were more local, tourist type, come do, this activity when you're done today kind of thing. And it wasn't really a good fit for cachers. They just wanted to go caching. And so the booth next to us, they were a local tourist thing. They packed up and they were done by 1:00. And so
Wow.
we'll just stretch out a little bit because nobody else wanted the space. And then the organizer said that would be okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But no, there really weren't very many. It was brand new, really kind of uncharted, trying to come up with what gear do geocachers want? What do I want as a cacher? And what's going to make sense that I can mass produce?
Right.
Yeah.
It's I like to, with what we do, right now we're focusing on just one or two specialty custom shirts for individuals. Right now our one of our most popular items is our path tag shirts. We can do a custom print of people's individual path tags on a shirt for them, and it's turned out to be the first one we did. We physically made that one ourselves, and the second everyone after that we have a digital printer that we're contracted with that handles all of our printing there, so they can actually do a better quality than what we can do here at the house. So, and we actually debuted our first actual printed shirts at Going Caching. Yeah. Lisa and Paulette, they bought On a Boat and Life is a Horse. Excuse me, not On a Boat. Life is a Horse, and I can't remember the other cacher's name. That's terrible. Spunky Monkey. That's it. Yes. Spunky Monkey and Life is a Horse. And beautiful, beautiful shirts. I'm glad they turned out the way they did. So.
One thing I noticed at events, like even with Dale and Barb and all them, you guys all get along with each other. You're not trying to like one up each other or try to hurt each other's business at events. That you guys are all there supporting each other when you're at events, because you're like, even though you're right next to each other, you're supporting each other. That's one thing I liked about being at the events.
Absolutely. Yeah. The vendors that don't work well with us, with others, we don't see them a few years later,
No.
It's a small community, and it only makes sense for us to support each other. A lot of us sell each other's products as well. Dale's a big reseller for me. And so, we'll coordinate who's going to carry what if we're going to be vending at the same event. It's just so, and then, we're not competing with each other. There's no reason to.
See, that's what's awesome. That's what's awesome. Very awesome.
Yeah. And we try to help out each other as best we can. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like, go ahead, Shawn.
With last year being my first year in business, we met Dale and Barb at a Midwest Geobash for the first time, and then we also met them again at Going Caching last year. And at the end of the day, we all just got together and had dinner, talked about each other's business and what we're doing, and learned about each other, and just became really good friends. So maybe someday I will get to meet and have dinner with you, Lisa.
Oh, I look forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the vlogging community too. Like the way we all get together, like even like the summits that we have, where we get like, especially at Woodstock in Cincinnati, we had 20 plus vloggers there, and just to have us all meet and have us talk about everything, it's insane. And it's nice that we all talk to each other, because we all get a chance to talk to each other on a daily basis. Because the stuff that a lot of the vloggers are doing now is insane. Like the video quality is up like probably 10,000% than what it used to be. Like just going behind a tree and saying, "Oh, there's a cache. All right, go to the next one. There's a cache." People are doing like crazy things in videos. It's insane.
Yeah, for sure. Technology's gotten so much better. And I almost wonder if the GIF, the Geocaching International Film Festival, has helped to kind of elevate creativity.
What's funny though about the GIF thing is like there's maybe only 2 or 3 vloggers that actually put in for the GIF that actually do videos all year round. I've wanted to do one for the past 3 years and I haven't done one. I know there's only a select number of vloggers that actually do it. It's crazy, but you think more vloggers would do it, but we get so busy with editing all the stuff during the year, all year round, that when it comes to that, you're like, it's just an extra thing. So sometimes it's harder to do. So
that makes sense. Yeah, you're kind of on content, creating new stuff all the time. So it's hard to plan out something bigger. Yeah.
Kind of like the old saying, the mechanic's car is always broke down.
Right.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah. He's too busy working on everybody else's. Yeah.
Right.
Do you have any special caching stories themselves besides like your business? Anything like special like you want to do or did that like is a memory that you've had like that is special?
Oh, it's all special. Shawn, go ahead.
Okay. What was it? About 2-3 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, actually. On the anniversary of Mingo, that week, my wife came to. My wife has been forced to work from home since all this went down, and she came to me and she said, "Honey, I have to get out of the house. I can't stay at the home all day long." So I said, "Okay, fine. We'll do something this weekend." She's like, "What? We can't do anything. But no campsites are open. You can't go anywhere." Well, so I called around, and come to find out, Kansas was opening up their campsites that same weekend. And so we drove down to Mingo, just the two of us, and grabbed Mingo, grabbed a couple other caches, and left the next day and came home. And I highly recommend, if you get to Mingo, to go find the Gadget Cache just down the road from Mingo. I think it's I can't even remember the name of it right now, right off the top of my head. But it's been put out just for the Mingo Madness event, but it'll definitely frustrate you.
Now that one's been rescheduled for September. Is that correct?
September 11th. Yes.
Yeah. I think it took the date of CoinFest.
Yes, it did.
What would have been?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were hoping to try to do all of those because my other business is Compass Creek Designs, and we do coins and tags and pins and such. So obviously CoinFest is a big one for us. We did the majority, I think, of the event coins last year for the one in Houma in Louisiana. And that was a lot of fun. I don't know. I've had so many adventures. I don't know where to start. I guess Yuma comes to mind. That was the last mega that we went to, and that's always a fun one. It's much more laid back mega event, and again, it's not one that we vend at. We go just to hang out and cache. And my in-laws live in Yuma, so it's also a family vacation trip. And my father-in-law enjoys caching. Yeah, so we get a few caches in with him, and then they're like, "Okay, we'll see you guys," because they know that we're gonna, go out and do as much as we can. Yeah, and they always have a lot of fun events, and that a lot of lab caches. We did a lot of walking around downtown and picking up labs and learning more of the history of the area since it's so different from here in Washington.
Oh yeah.
Now, do you think adventure labs are going to take away from your labs like during events and megas, since there's so many adventure labs out there now? Like going after labs at an event, is it going to be as popular, do you think, or no anymore? That's
a good question. I don't know. That it might really dilute them somewhat. Here's something we've just started announcing it. Our coin challenge that we're doing, it's all going to be lab caches.
Nice.
So touchless, contactless. So we're able to launch that at the end of August is our plan. And within our group of volunteers, we've got about 30 or 40 labs that we can do. So, that we're working that into a more orchestrated, larger event to earn a trackable at the end of, instead of just a bonus cache. So I don't know. They were so rare. It was something that we worked at to try to get them at mega events, which is hard because they're only usually available for a few days. And when you're vending, you can't always get out.
Right.
Yeah, to go do them. So I don't know. Good question. What do you think, Shawn?
I think the Adventure Lab caches should be held around events. There have been several Adventure Lab caches in my area that weren't held around events. So I kind of feel that if they're going to put them out without being an event around it, they should actually, dare I say, reactivate the virtuals. Bring back virtuals. That's what I'm in favor of.
Because I don't know if either of you hit my Adventure Lab in Cartersville. It was like just outside of Rome when it was here last year. But like people went for that just to get the more lab caches because there was only 3 Adventure Labs in Georgia at the time. But now I look on the map for Adventure Labs and there's, I think, 10 to 15 Adventure Labs in Georgia. So I don't know if it's going to take it away from it or if it's going to make people want to find them more. But I know they're going to have the diehards are going to want to find every cache at every event for everything. So just really depends.
Yeah. I still have yet to break 100 caches a day. I haven't even broke 30 caches a day. So I don't know how people do the number of caches that they do. But especially if I'm going to be at an event trying to vend at the same time, the only time I was at Geo Woodstock, the only time I was able to vend was at the midnight madness thing. Yeah. I packed up my booth and took my wife back to the hotel, grabbed something to eat, took some rest. Next thing you know, it's 11:30, so I headed over to the Midnight Madness. The Midnight Madness itself had enough people there to qualify for a mega. Yeah. I mean, that was crazy. But the good thing is I ran into some cachers that I knew, and I followed them around. We did some caching together. We picked up some Where I Go. We picked up Earth Cache. We picked up, I think I got 7 cache types in a matter of couple hours that I was there. So it was a good time.
That's definitely easier to do at mega events because you've also got that mega icon as well, and then all the other events and such. So yeah, I don't remember what my record is. I think it's 10. I'll have to look back. I'm thinking it was actually Woodstock when it was in Tennessee, Bell Buckle. I was with a group of folks, and that was our focus, was to try to get as many cache types as we could in a 24-hour period.
How'd you guys come up with that cache challenge? and the cash crate, Lisa?
The Geo Challenge of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that Joshua and I brainstormed up, just as a way to, you know, bring more activity for geocachers. Especially after you've been caching for a while, it can become a little routine. Can be, but then you start going for challenges and orchestrating your activities so you qualify for a particular challenge. So we thought, well, let's do a Geo Challenge of the month. And so working with Joshua, we figured out our how we'll do it. I'll challenge him, and then he goes and accepts the challenge. Then we challenge everybody else, and then at the end we've got winners. And so I ship them all out a coin. I don't have that up here. There's actually multiple versions of the coin. There's a first place, and then there's a second and third is the same coin, and then I have a retail version as well. And then Joshua has a Patreon version that his patrons get. So yeah, that's how that started, and we've been doing that for a couple of years now too. And
I got a second place coin.
Oh, you did? Oh, great!
Yes,
congratulations. I need to send out the last batch. I just got all the addresses and such, so I need to get those out in the mail. And you were asked.
I was going to say, how many people do you usually get that mail in their challenge?
Yeah, it's a couple hundred.
Wow.
That do? Yeah, a couple hundred, I think. It fluctuates. Some months are a little more, a little less. We had our schedule planned out this winter. We take a winter break, and because we're both in northern climates, and we don't really want to be out caching. And I need a break after Christmas, and obviously we had to pivot with COVID-19. So we've been doing activities or challenges that anybody can do, even if they're stuck at home.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Dan, you asked about the cache crates as well?
Yeah, how you guys come up with the cache crate idea?
Yeah, well, that was 5 years ago when I started the cache crates. I was just, I guess I'm just an entrepreneur at heart. I like coming up with new ideas, and I was seeing subscription boxes as becoming more and more popular. And I thought, well, why not do one with geocaching? And so I did some brainstorming. I did a survey. I had 800 people reply to my survey asking, would you like one? What would you like in it? How much would you like to pay? When do you want to get it? And so I was really able to tailor it to what folks wanted. And it's been a big success. Does great.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I don't have one. I'll eventually get it. It just, with the money crunching and all that stuff right now, I can't afford it right now. So.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I definitely have had members that, have needed to pause right now. And others that are, it's not an effect, and they want to gear up to when they can get back out caching too. And we have three other memberships too. We've got the Cashkins of the Month, Cashkins Club, and that's just $7. And then we have the Hero Crate, which is quarterly, and the Puzzle League for learning how to solve puzzles.
How's that taken off so far?
Good, really good. Engagement has been huge. Coley has been a great partner to partner with to teach how to do puzzle caches.
I'm not a puzzle cacher. I'm surprised, I'm not being so close to Jim and Andy with their puzzles up there, because besides even the going caching ones, I can't even figure out 3/4 of their caches up there. So it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, they're not easy. It's something I avoided for a long time, but with getting some tips and walk through on how to do some of them, suddenly they become easier. And just like geocaching, the more success you have, the more you want to do it, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you, are your coins made in the United States?
No, nobody makes coins in the U.S. that I know of. No, we have multiple factories in China that do the actual production work for us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you look back 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure. I believe it's streamed to my Facebook page, Cash Advance page. The Mappy Hour, we do that every Friday. That's why I've got to cut out a little early tonight to get set up for that. We talked all about how coins are made and the process that we go through. So yeah, they all come from China, which has been a little difficult the last 4 months.
Yeah, I read a post from Path Tags about their delays that they've been going through with the Chinese New Year earlier this year and the COVID problems. Yeah,
it was a double whammy. Yeah, we always, with Chinese New Year, you want to get your projects in, and done in January for anything that you might need, May, between then or May. And they had to shut down early, even before New Year's, because of COVID, and they didn't come back for a long time. And then just like us, it's been a staggered opening in China as well. So their production has been way down. So we decided we're just not going to focus on coins at all right now. Get in what we can and do other projects.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think that's what people don't take into account too for mega events. Like, they're mad that megas are shutting down, but there's so much involved with the coins. You said that you're not going to be able to get coins for a while. You're not going to be able to get this for a while. Mm-hmm. And people will go to events are like, well, why can't I get a packet? Why isn't there this? Why is it? Everything's shut down everywhere. You can't get the stuff you need.
Yeah, it's not going to get made. Yeah, and coins, a good coin project, especially for a mega event, is at least 6 months in the works.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's not something, like what we're more used to, locally, like making a T-shirt design or something, and then you just make it. These are a lot different, and they take a real long time to do, with samples and back and forth, and then just the production time is long. So yeah, it totally makes sense. You for a mega event, or even just our coin challenge, you need at least 3 to 9 months prep time to get everything done. And if it's not going to get done, that's kind of a problem, for mega. We've seen that happen a few times too.
Wow.
Especially with Jim and Andy, because their coins are so intricate in how they do things with them and how they're used in the event that they need all the time in the world to have those made. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We've done a few coins for them in the past, and yeah, it's awesome. Really intricate work.
Do they come to you well before the event that's going on is being held, or is it usually before the event, or do they come to you after the event of that year?
Well, it's within their planning window. So for an October event, usually you need to have plans and things done by February.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a little inner working that we don't hear about. So
it's a lot of work. Yeah. And that's, like you were saying, their coins tie in so much to all the different activities that they do. So it's huge pre-planning on their parts. The coin, Tri-Cities coin challenge, that we do here, it's about 2.5 hour away. It's a mega that happens in June. Normally it's canceled this year. We've been doing their coins for years. And, we actually, the night of the mega, we often get literally a napkin sketch design, for the next year. And so, we have a whole year to plan.
Wow. I can't believe it takes that long. That's just awesome. But I mean, I've watched videos about how the U.S. Mint makes our money, mm-hmm. and their coins. So, and those are just as intricate, if not more so.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I mean, they don't have color and such. Our U.S. money, the metal coinage. So that's where it gets really tricky. But yeah, and although not all projects are like that, a lot of them can be done much faster, especially, if it's a similar design, and you're very familiar with the factory and what their capabilities are. Mm-hmm. I have actually gone from, drawing to coin in hand in a month, but that's really, really rare.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's, it can be done, but it's pretty impossible, really. What are much easier and faster to produce are the cash skins. and tags.
Have you ever been approached to do something from another business that has nothing to do with caching to make a coin for them, or no?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why we branched Compass Creek Designs into its own business. So we don't have to explain what geocaching is. Say if a city wants to, give a coins of appreciation to all their 10-year employees. Yeah, we're happy to do that. So yes, we've done dozens and dozens and dozens of non geocaching coins. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Do you have any other stories to share with us, Shawn?
Yeah.
Well, since I've started making and designing T-shirts, I've been inundated from people I know, and as well as other geocachers who are like, "Oh, hey, you should try and make this shirt. It'll be a great design. Can you make this design for me?" And I think the hardest part is when someone brings me an old T-shirt that they love, that they got years ago from, I don't know, say in high school, and they're now in their 60s. Say it's like their high school football shirt or something, and they want me to recreate that shirt. And I was like, I'll do the best I can. I said, but I don't want to I don't want to ruin I don't. So I'm always torn between, do I take creative license in that design, or do I try and recreate the original design as much as possible? More often than not, I try and do the best I can as far as recreating the original design. I've only done that a few times, but thank God everybody has liked what they've received so far. So.
All right, where could they find your T-shirts, Shawn? You can give your website a plug.
Well, all of our T-shirt designs can be found at artedcrafted.com. That's right here behind me, kind of sitting. There we go. Arted and crafted.com. We have a lot of our own designs that we put up. Matter of fact, we just put up a brand new one today. We call it the 2020 Staycation. It's got a ammo can with a mask on it, and it says the staycation that never ends. So we'll see how that works out. We just put that up today.
And people, I think, know where to find you, Lisa. You've been out there for a while, so if you want to give your website, go ahead and.
Yeah, sure. So the main website is cache-advance.com. And from there, you can find links to compasscreekdesigns.com and cachecrate.com. We're actually closed to new members right now. I just closed it Wednesday, midnight. We do periodic openings to let new members come in and then close the doors. So you can't get in right now, but you can get on the wait list. And so if you go there, you can sign up for the wait list and be the first to know when we open up again. Nice. And there's also a link there to the wait list for the Puzzle League. We'll be opening that back up again probably later this summer for new members.
All right. I want to thank you guys both for joining my show tonight. It was fun. So, and
nice
you go and
Lisa.
Good to meet you too, Shawn. Yeah, I look forward to meeting you in person soon.
Yes.
And doing dinner.
There you go.
All right. I'll see you guys all next week. Thank you for joining Cache Chat.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Dan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.